Living longer, living healthier, living better than ever before. Welcome to Mountain Pacific's Healthy Living for Life, a weekly series that gives you the information, education, and expert insight you need to become an active participant in today's ever-changing healthcare climate. Here now is today's program host.
Vision is one of the most important senses a human can have, connecting us to the world as we know it. From vivid colors and beautiful landscapes to everyday functions like walking, reading, or driving, we rely on our eyesight to guide us through life. And that's exactly why eye care is so important. I'm your host, Lisa Sather. Welcome to this episode of Healthy Living for Life, a show dedicated to helping you do just that. We start this morning with Dr. Bill Haskett of Montana Eye Care. Dr. Haskett, welcome to our show.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So let's start out this morning about eye strain, talking about eye strain. And a lot of folks get eye strain looking at their computers or their smartphones. Can you tell us a little bit about what they can do to help reduce that?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, you'll hear a lot of things talked about with ergonomics and body position, dry eyes and blinking a lot. The more we strain and stare at computers, the less we blink, the less moisture on the front surface of the eyes. So you're going to increase discomfort, redness. There is a little tip you can have while you're working at a device or computer. We call it the 20-20-20. For every 20 minutes at a computer screen, you can take 20 seconds to look off at a distance of 20 feet or more. So if you have an outside window or a long hallway, just something to fixate on, and what that does is it relaxes your focusing system so that your eyes strain less. But really a lot of it is blinking, having your device maybe down below eye level so you're looking down at it as opposed to looking up at it and straining your neck and your eyes. So,
thank you, that's good tips. I need to abide by that rule myself. So dry eyes can definitely be a result of doing a lot of looking at the smartphone or the computer. Are there other things that can cause dry eyes, and what can be done about that?
Well, the climate we live in is really not conducive for dry eyes. We live in a very high desert, dry climate, spend a lot of time outdoors. Different medications, antidepressants, blood pressure medications, anti-allergy medications, smoking, a lot of our environmental causes certainly will lead to dry eyes. So there's things you can do using over-the-counter artificial tears. You go to the pharmacy and there will be a myriad of pharmaceutical options out there over the counter, but discussing it with your eye care provider and seeing which eye drop is best for you to increase the hydration level, the oil level, and the health of the front surface of the eye. And you can get as extreme as putting plugs in the tear ducts to increase tear retention. There's even over-the-counter oral supplements you can take as well that have the essential fatty acids, the omega-3 fatty acids, fish oil, flaxseed oil, some of those things in them to increase your increase more of your tear production.
Well, great. So let's talk about eye drops for red eyes or irritated eyes. I'm guilty of this. And can you tell us a little bit about these eye drops and whether or not they have any adverse effects? And are there other ways to relieve red eyes?
Good question. I woke up today, no kidding, with a red, sore right eye. And I have a bottle of artificial tear, just a lipid-based, oil-based artificial tear in the counter or in the cabinet. I put a drop in, and I'm not kidding you, within 20 minutes, the redness had diminished probably 20-30%. A drop later, an hour later, it was down, 80%. A lot of people want that instant gratification of no red eyes. So the over-the-counter get the red out drops are generally designed more for allergies. And I tell patients that truly have allergies or some sort of allergic event, those are certainly beneficial to be used on the short term. Using them long term can increase, obviously brings the size of the blood vessel down, but it causes the blood vessels to lose their elasticity, and you'll actually get blood vessels that stay engorged and overdilated, and they're even worse looking than they were prior. And you can get to a point where you cannot bring them down in terms of shrinking the size of them. So they serve a purpose. There is a point for them to be used, but once again, not long-term and not daily.
Okay, great. Let's talk about sunglasses. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the importance of wearing sunglasses when you're outside, and why is that?
Well, sunglasses is very important for cutting down on UV. You've got UVA, B, and C. UVC, the ultraviolet rays there, are usually cut down and filtered out by the ozone layer. So we worry about the UVA and B. which can be very damaging, and that's what we're trying to block out of our eyes. So the sunglasses do that if you get the right ones. You know, you want ones that have 99%, 95 to 99% or more UV protection. There's different tints you can get with sunglasses. Some people prefer a certain color. Gray tints tend to keep colors the truest in terms of looking at different color schemes. Some people like more of a brown or an amber tint. But you know, the importance is there because obviously there's tissue in the eye. It increases the risk of cataracts, the onset of cataracts when there's more UV coming in. I worry a lot about the soft tissue around the eyelids themselves, where there's a lot of oil glands there that produce, going back to the dry eye, that produce a lot of the oil that helps to lubricate the front surface of the eye. So you can damage those glands by increased UV exposure as well. So they serve a purpose to protect us from wind as well, so that drying effect can be diminished. So we do talk a lot about them, even on gray days. Sometimes that's where a lot of your UV is coming in on an overcast day as well. So, you know, a lot of it is just knowing if you've got UV protection. Some people prefer polarization when they're out on the water to get those reflected rays coming off the water. The winter times are the worst too because of the reflected rays coming off the snow. So I think all year round in Montana, especially with our recreational lifestyle, it's definitely beneficial, and not only from internal eye structures, but external eye structures like the eyelids. So.
Great, thank you. We have about a minute left, so can you just tell us a little bit about smoking and how that affects eye health?
Smoking increases your risk of developing things like macular degeneration, puts a lot of damaging chemicals into the bloodstream, and it gets into that same blood that goes up to the eyes and can cause deterioration of the tissue around the macula, the retina. It also increases the risk and the incidence of cataracts as well, just from the smoke and the inhalation, but also the external absorption through the tissues of the front of the eye. So not good. It's like the whole, I tell people your body is part of the systemic health system. So anything you're putting into your body that's damaging is going to be damaging to your eyes as well.
Thank you. A lot of good information today. I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lisa.
So after the break, we'll learn about what happens to our eyes as we age and some things to watch out for. Stay tuned.